past, fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kira's show here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya, and well, some things have happened. Midoriya, in the last part, he was able to think. He has to recruit 3 more guardians for his familia. Currently, 2 are somewhat in the bag, you could say. The people that Midoriya he has chosen, they are, well, you could say worthy. However, Midoriya is on the fence about this 3rd person he is giving a ring to. Reborn specifically chose him. And Midoriya, after looking at that guy and being around him for just one day, Midoriya doesn't know. The guy didn't really use his quirk during the quirk apprehension test. And then there's the fact that just from looking at him, he is a bit muscular. But he's less than everyone else. Along with that, he does seem to have a carefree attitude. And a persona that doesn't really seem very... well, you can trust him with things. It's just he's too easy on himself. He's one of those people who do not seem to challenge themselves. Now, Reborn, he told Midoriya that if he does not like this person as a familia candidate, then Midoriya can find somebody else to fill his role. Now, with that being said, we do actually have about next week, where everybody, they've actually been at least properly talking about all this mafia, quote-unquote, business. Now, Midoriya, yeah. He still needs to approach Kendo and Kirishima about it all. And Reborn, he is still waiting for Midoriya to find that candidate for the lightning ring. Now, Midoriya, he doesn't know that these rings have elements to them yet. Reborn just told him that they're rings quite simply. Now, we do actually have Midoriya today, where everyone is going to be gearing up for a combat test. Now, as everyone is gearing up and talking, Mr. Aizawa does talk about how the combat instructor will be in the room shortly. And, surprise, All Might comes to the door. Now, this takes everybody by shock. Even Midoriya himself, who was astonished to hear about this, let alone see the number 1 hero. The moment he saw All Might, his eyes widened. However, he quickly went back into that mindset of, oh shit. Since he has to think for 1 minute. He's gonna be the head of the mafia. And currently, the number 1 hero, a person who stops illegal activity, is in front of him. Not only that, but it has to be the man he idolizes since he was a kid. Especially since this Midoriya is closer to canon than most. In fact, his divergent line is after, or at least sometime after he was 14. Now, Midoriya, he does see All Might. And All Might, he actually would walk up to Midoriya and congratulate him on getting 1st place in the quirk apprehension, or not quirk apprehension, getting 1st place in the entrance exam. Which All Might, or Midoriya, he does sort of just look up at All Might and, well, someone just say, thanks, All Might. Can I, hmm? What is it, young man? Can I get your autograph? Hmm? Why, of course. Now, All Might would sign Midoriya's notebook. And Midoriya, he does thank All Might. A little less like in canon, though. Just saying thank you as Aizawa does remind everyone to go get changed. Now, Midoriya, he does run off, as we do have whenever everybody is revealing hero outfits. Now, we actually do have Midoriya, who he wanted to design something like All Might. However, he is also training with Reborn, and due to Reborn's influence, Midoriya has taken on an outfit similar to, well, kind of like Denki's actually. Midoriya, he has a white shirt that's fireproof. Along with that, he has a jacket made of a specialized Kevlar that Reborn has provided him. And the jacket is both flexible and somewhat mobile. It is resistant to damage, however heavy damage it is not. Along with that, Midoriya does have black pants and some standardized running shoes provided to him by the hero department, which are fireproof. Now, people do walk out, and a lot of them do actually look around at everyone else's hero costumes. Midoriya, he does notice a few of them are actually quite flashy, as he does look at, well, Ida, and stare directly at his hero outfit. Huh? A suit of armor? Excuse me, you were staring at me. Yeah, sorry, but, why a suit of armor? Simple. It's the outfit of my hero family. Yeah, I kinda get that, but doesn't that thing weigh you down? Now, Ida remains silent, as Midoriya then does ask Ida if he's sweating buckets in there. Now, you actually do have where somebody does laugh. And Midoriya, he didn't really pay attention to that, as All Might, not Aizawa, he does go on to explain the event. Now, I believe everyone is familiar with this event, so I don't need to explain it. So let's just get right into the battles. The hero team, for this one, let's just say it's different from canon, and change that up a bit, actually. Our hero team is going to be Midoriya and Kendo versus, let's see, Denki and Bakugo. That would mix things up a bit. Now, this is quite interesting. Midoriya and Bakugo, they do both look at each other, as Bakugo does tell Midoriya that he's gonna win this easy. Come on, Bakugo, I doubt you're gonna win. Really, and why's that? Because I got first place, remember? Midoriya does say, giving a light smile. Bakugo actually a bit surprised that Midoriya would say something so cocky. Now, All Might would explain that Midoriya needs to be careful. If he's too arrogant, then he will not be prepared for a surprise attack. Now, Midoriya, he does stare at All Might, and he is confused by that response. All Might clearing his throat as he does state that if you are able to trap your opponent in a sense of false security, then you're able to get in a damaging blow whenever it counts. And that could possibly kill you. Now, Midoriya was surprised by how serious All Might did sound. However, Midoriya, he just brushed this off, as him and Kendo are both standing outside, and she does look directly at Midoriya and ask him exactly what their plan is. Let me see for 1 second, please. Now, Midoriya, he's trying to think, and he's actually coming up with a plan pretty fast. In his head, he's laid out a blueprint of the building. He has a square that goes up multiple levels. So, what would be the best option for the bomb to be at? What do we just think? Him going to reach into his jacket, unzip something, and pull out the container of pills. Kendo surprises Midoriya. He does take 2 of them, pop them in his mouth, and then go to reach into his pocket for his gloves. Now, as soon as that does happen, you do actually have in the observation room where everyone does see a pair of wool gloves Midoriya has in his hand. All of them surprised as Midoriya, he does go to slip them on before they turn into his Vangola gloves. And they're shocked. What the hell? I've never seen gloves that can do that. Me neither. Now, Midoriya does go to slip on his right glove as the flame on his head does ignite. And Kendo, she does stare at Midoriya's hands. Whoa. Okay. So let's see. Midoriya does say as his tone went from more, okay, I have an idea to, I have a plan. Now, Midoriya, he does express to Kendo what he does think. From what he can tell from looking up, this building is about 10 to 12 stories tall. If he would have to guess, the bomb would be smack dab in the middle. What makes you think that? Think about it. This is UA. Along with that, this place is made for people with variable quirks. If someone had a flying quirk, they could fly to the very top and get the bomb immediately. The bomb isn't outside on the top of the building, however. It's not within the 12th story. If I had to guess, I'd say it's between the 8th and 6th story, and possibly even within the 7th. Along with that, if I had to say, then this building also would have either traps or mazes inside to confuse us and possibly even provide combat zones for people with certain quirks. Think about it like this. This is a building with concealed environments and walls. If we had to face against someone like that girl with a frog quirk, we'd be doomed. Especially because, now, Midoriya's focus does break whenever his comms do come in through his ear. Like, hello, they're on a time limit. Midoriya does hear. Sorry. Now, Kendo does stare at Midoriya, surprised. Where did you... Let's head inside. Now, the two do walk in. As Midoriya, he does actually bring up his hand and turn off his comms. Now, as this does happen, Midoriya, he would look at Kendo and point to his ear. As Kendo, her being confused, she does bring up her hand and do the same thing. What's up? Okay. So, I know this probably isn't a good time to talk about it, but now, All Might does see Midoriya and Kendo on the camera, as he's kind of surprised. He can see them at the end of the hallway, but not very much else. It seems like they're continuing to discuss that plan. However, he cannot pick up audio. That's strange. Did somebody mess with these cameras, or are they just malfunctioning? Now, Midoriya, he would explain the whole Vangola thing to Kendo, and explain to her that she's a candidate for his mafia family. Now, Kendo does think that it's a whole fake-out thing. However, Midoriya, he does pull a ring out of his pocket and directly hold it up, as Kendo does see it with a rain droplet on top of it. Listen, this isn't fake. This isn't, well, a joke. Midoriya does say, handing it over to her, telling her that this ring is something special, and it would allow her to have access to a power that she would not otherwise have access to in her life. What? A power like a quirk? No, not like a quirk. I'm not too sure of it myself because my teacher has not yet explained it to me. But listen, I know I say we're making a mafia family, however, I intend to change the world for the better. My plan is to disband the mafia, and to one day create a hero association within the Mafia. Now, Kendo is confused. However, Midoriya he does spin around and continue walking. Midoriya is saying that if she doesn't want to join, then give him back that ring. Now, Kendo is trying to process everything. As before she can, we do actually have Baku who comes flying around the corner. Him shifting his gauntlets from his right to behind him. Him screaming out to Deku. As Midoriya, he does bring his hands up behind him and go to fly in. Now, as it does happen, Kendo is surprised, as Midoriya and Baku do both go flying at one another. Now, Bakugo, he does go throw his right hook, as we do have Midoriya who, he guessed it, him turning off his left hand, as Midoriya's right hand makes him go flying backwards and directly avoiding Bakugo's blast. Bakugo confuses Midoriya, he does bring up his knee and smash directly into Bakugo's gut. And Midoriya, he does then throw a right hook directly across Bakugo's face. Now, Bakugo, yeah, he didn't expect that. How did Midoriya know he was going to throw a right hook? Now, as it does happen, Bakugo goes slamming into the wall. As we do then have Midoriya, who, he does just stand there as he does bring his hands up, and then Bakugo, he does go to throw up his left hand. Midoriya actually going to bring up his hand and smack Bakugo on his gauntlet. Midoriya smashing it upwards as the explosion does go off directly above to the right of Midoriya's head. Midoriya bring up his left hand as he does go to pin Bakugo against the wall and try to use the capture tape. Midoriya screaming at Kendo to go capture the bomb, as she does quickly run past. Now, Bakugo, he does do something that does seem to be a little bit desperate. He does smash his foot down onto Midoriya's shoe, and he does go for a headbutt to avoid the capture tape and ending his match right here. Now, as it does actually happen, Bakugo, he does bring up his hand and blast an explosion directly into Midoriya's chest, sending him towards the wall. As it actually does happen, you have Midoriya who smashes into it before he does throw up his right hand and shoot himself to the left to avoid another explosion. Before Midoriya, he does go rolling onto the ground before getting back up and standing there right where he was at the end of the hall with Kendo. Damn, Deku. You got stronger, didn't you? You're not that weak little nerd anymore. Midoriya bring up both of his hands, as the demeanor in his eyes is cold, calculating, and serious. Of course I'm not. I told you I'm gonna beat you here. Doubt it. Now, Midoriya, yeah. He does just think. He has to do something here quickly. Kendo, yeah, she might be able to handle that Denki guy. However, if he does use his quirk in at least a good way, he could probably beat her. From what he knows, she has a close range quirk while he has a long range quirk to mid range. So, if that guy even has a good amount of brain cells, he'll win. Now, Midoriya, he does just go to rush forwards and start running. As he does that, he does actually do a burst technique. Midoriya bursting in as he does directly blitz Bakugo. Bakugo going to bring up his hands on the offensive, bringing up his gauntlets to block as Midoriya he goes for a right hook. Midoriya directly smashing into them as hard as he can, before bringing up his leg and trying to get Bakugo to buckle one of his knees before smashing downwards and trying to hit Bakugo in the side of the head. Now, people do watch as these two do begin a battle, where they're flinging each other around the hallway, and actually starting to destroy the walls of this floor. Now, with that, All Might does watch, as Kendo herself is making her way to the top, and she is getting ready for her attack on Denki. However, at the same time, she's also inspecting this ring. This thing feels like real metal, and she's trying to understand why this guy's talking the way he is. Now, we do cut back to Midoriya and Bakugo. As Bakugo, he's received a bloody nose, and Midoriya has received a busted lip whenever the two did exchange blows. Now, Bakugo, yeah. After the two did pull away, he did get a bit angry, as, in a lapse of judgment, he does bring up one of his gauntlets and go to pull the pin. Now, we do actually then have where All Might, he's screaming at Bakugo to not do that. And we have Midoriya, who, he is trying to think. The hallway is too narrow, and if he tries to bust through the wall, he won't have enough time. Explosions, they travel fast. And Midoriya, him quickly brainstorming, thinking that he can bring up one of his hands and create a blast to, at least try to, create a funnel. Now, Midoriya, he's thinking, as he does plant his feet and bring up his right hand. Midoriya, him, going to create a blast. As Midoriya, he does feel the recoil, he does feel his body beginning to move. As he does quickly bring up his other hand and think, okay, I get propelled forward as soon as I start blasting heavily. So what I need to try and do is Midoriya throwing up his other hand behind him as he does begin to start blasting that way as well. Now, people are watching Midoriya. What is he doing? Now, Midoriya, he did this super quickly, as Bakugo sent out a blast and Midoriya sent out his own blast directly towards Bakugo. Now, the building did begin to shake, and everyone was feeling this. As we do have where Kendo, she watches Denki as he's trying to stay on his feet, and he is very quickly beginning to lose his balance. Now, as she does see him fall onto the ground, she does rush in and go to bring up one of her hands. Denki, as he's trying to get back onto his feet, he does turn and see her, as she does do one thing. She goes to put her hand on the bomb, and Denki, he does turn as he does try to at least charge up his quirk. Now, Denki, he is surprised, as All Might does announce that the heroes have won. Now, we do cut back to the lower levels, where the walls are scorched and most of the walls down there are destroyed and heavily damaged. As you have Bakugo who's standing there with one of his gauntlets, and he does still have the pen in his hand. Him breathing heavily from the force he just exerted. As you have Midoriya who is still standing there with a flame on his head. Now, All Might does then say that the heroes have won and the test is over. As Midoriya does smile, telling Bakugo that this was pretty fun. Damn. I agree with you on something. Now, everyone is watching, as they all would clear out of this exam area. And the rest of the exams do go close to canon. Now, with that being said, we do... Yeah, actually, let's go with that. I was going to end it here, but let's at least do something here. After the day is over, we do actually have where Midoriya, he would ask Kirishima if he can talk to him after class. Now, the two would meet outside of the school, and Kirishima, he does actually ask Midoriya what he wanted to talk about, as you do have Reborn, who's close by, and he's watching what's going on. Midoriya asking Kirishima if he wants to at least train with him for a bit. Yeah, sure, man. You really think that'd be a good idea, though? What do you mean? I mean, my quirk, yours, it's like, wouldn't that be a bad idea? Just like I thought. What? You're not confident in your quirk, are you? I don't know what you're talking about, man. Come on. Kirishima, I can see right through you. Hmm? What? Kirishima, your quirk is weaker than it should be. I saw it during the combat thing. You know, your quirk is good, yeah, but it's not as good as it should. Now, Midoriya does explain it to Kirishima. Hardening quirks around this age for regular pro heroes, they've stated that they can do these things and these things. Along with that, they're durable enough to withstand these type of blows. However, he saw Kirishima falter at those once. So you can tell he's underdeveloped. And Midoriya, he would then actually pull out the ring and toss it to Kirishima, explaining to him exactly what is going on now. He wants Kirishima to join his familia, and one day he'll disband the mafia, or at least use it to do good in the world. Now, Kirishima is taken by surprise. Him going to open his mouth and talk before Midoriya does talk about how, with that ring, he'll gain access to power he's never had before. Now, Kirishima, he does freeze, as he does stare down at the ring, and then look up at Midoriya. He can tell Midoriya's genuinely a good guy. However, this whole flip situation, the mafia, disbanding it, giving him power, when you say it's not a quirk, it's not a quirk. Tomorrow, lunch, give me your answer. Midoriya does say is he does go to walk away. Now, as it has happened, you do have Reborn, who would greet Midoriya at Yue's gate, asking him if that was all. Oh yeah, it was. Oh man. It was weird. I don't like acting like that. I see. So you put on a false sense of bravado, as if you took one of your pills. Kinda, yeah, Reborn. Then again, it did kinda work. Not really. It's due to your personality change. Over the course of this year, you've grown a lot. You've become more confident. That's all. Really, you think so? Yes. Now, you need to go home and train. Yes, sir. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.